Right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the apostles, the elders, a great millstone that taught me this truth through the Holy Spirit, and a sincere peace, blessings, and salutations to you, Akim, across the four corners of the earth that are pushing this knowledge and truth and this sincerity. It's the brother Barzal from the GMS Arizona Campbell as well, with another quick lesson to edify through the Holy Spirit unto you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true children of Israel, according to the scriptures and according to the prophecy. Shalom. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest, when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou, at the last, remember my words and be pricked therewith. So, the enemy is not to be trusted. And the enemy of the Israelites begins with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And the reason why I went to that precept is because I wanted to get this video here where Trump is proposing abolishing federal income tax for U.S. citizens, as it says there in the title of the video. Now, I want to play this because, when you look at the full scope of the moves that Trump has been making since he got into office, it clearly points and indicates that we're moving towards the time of Jacob's trouble. The mass deportations have begun. I saw a video where there was an Israelite crying because his wife was deported back to Mexico. And so, there was a separation, between this guy and his wife, and he was begging Trump to bring his wife back to him. Okay, these are the type of times that we're coming into. Trump is spewing rhetoric about bringing back the death penalty, doing away with the diversity, equity, and inclusion laws and all these things, man. This devil is stirring up the pot and creating uproars within the people. Now, someone see this headline, they don't really know what to make of it. Trump proposing to abolish the income tax for U.S. citizens. So I'm going to let him speak on it. And this goes right along with the overall agenda of moving towards a one world government, a one world currency, a digital currency that can be monitored, can be tracked, and the total control that Esau Edom wants over the whole world. Because if most American people will celebrate something like this, not realizing that it's just a trap and a snare for more control. You see, so let's watch the video. We'll get a little bit more information about some of what Trump said in the video, and then a few precepts and close it out.
Be very rich again, and it's going to happen. America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money. And that was all made through tariffs. As we had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
See, and Trump won't have any issue getting people to stand behind such a move. I don't understand all the ins and outs of it, but just on the surface, it sounds like a great thing. Who wants to be paying taxes when that's some money that they can be keeping in their pockets? But see, what that's going to lead to is universal basic income. You can see how these things can lead right up to universal basic income, which is not good for the people. That's just more control. And that's ultimately what this devil wants. I went to Wikipedia and looked up the legal history of income tax in the U.S. I'm not going to get all of this, but we'll read a little bit. It says taxation of, because I wasn't aware of that there wasn't an income tax between like the 1870s to 1913. So it says taxation of of income in the United States has been practiced since colonial times. Some southern states impose their own taxes on income from property, both before and after independence. The Constitution empowered the federal government to raise taxes at a uniform rate throughout the nation and required that direct taxes be imposed only in proportion to the census population of each state. Federal income tax was first introduced under the Revenue Act of 1861 to help pay for the Civil War. It was renewed in later years and reformed in 1894 in the form of the Wilson-Jorman tariff. Let's see. I'm not gonna get all that, man. Let's go back. I'm gonna just get this in, this generally sums it up. So it says, yes, there was no federal income tax in the United States from 1872 to 1913. It says the first federal income tax was passed in 1861 to help fund the Civil War, but was repealed in 1872. The 16th Amendment to the Constitution was passed in 1909 and ratified in 1913, allowing Congress to impose a federal income tax. All right. So between that period of 1972 and 1913, there was no federal income tax. Basically there was all tariffs taken from these other nations. Now, what I want to get here is just play this 3-minute video because I went to Wikipedia and typed in universal basic income. All right, so it says universal basic income is a social welfare proposal in which all citizens of a given population regularly receive a minimum income in the form of an unconditional transfer payment without a means test or need to perform work. You can sit your ass on the couch all day and you got money coming. Now, that's going to turn into classes that are going to be issued certain amounts. If you a nigga, who's going to stop them from giving you less than they'll give, these other nations, these heathen nations? Like if you're a so-called black man, who's to say that they're not going to give, the Chinese or the Japanese or, the East Indian, the fucking Hamite, more money than you? Like who, but that's going to be the power and decision of those that are in control to decide. And you're going to be completely dependent on that. You're going to be completely subjected to that. And that's what people don't realize. They'll celebrate the fact that they ain't got to pay no taxes, but then somebody else is controlling your money. And if it's all digital, then they can go into your account and take what they want at any time. They can force you to spend how they want you to spend. And what's going to tie it all together is Revelations, the 13th chapter, the MOTB. See, this is a lockstep. This devil is marching in a direction of the ultimate agenda. It says, in contrast, a guaranteed minimum income is paid only to those who do not already receive an income that is enough to live on. A UBI will be received independently of any other income. All right. It says, if the level is sufficient to meet a person's basic needs, i.e., at or above the poverty line, it is sometimes called a full basic income. If it is less than that amount, it may be called a partial basic income. As of 2024, no country has implemented a full UBI system, but 2 countries, Mongolia and Iran, have had partial UBI in the past. There have been numerous pilot projects, and the idea is discussed in many countries. Some have labeled UBI as utopian due to its historical origin. Now, let's look at this video, get some information on that.
Today, austerity seems to be the only answer given to remedy the economic crisis in Europe, yet people are getting poorer and poorer. Automation in manufacturing and wealth accumulation by financial institutions are changing our approach to work. More and more is produced with fewer and fewer people. Unemployment rates have skyrocketed and pay work is no longer a right for everyone. The good news is that never before in history have human societies generated so much wealth. But while this wealth is produced by the work of all, past and present, this wealth is unevenly distributed among citizens. We, as European citizens, propose an alternative. It's not a new idea, but now is the time to put it into action. It's called unconditional basic income. Have you heard of it? Not yet? Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment and sickness. There it is. Basic income should be universal, individual, unconditional, and high enough to ensure a dignified existence and participation in society. This new fundamental right for humanity not only would eradicate misery, it is also a way to develop non-market orientated work, such as artists, parents, and volunteers. But it's also an economic measure. A basic income for all means supporting local business. Therefore, it would enable us to fully exercise our citizenship. How do we finance it? Easy. We have several proposals: financial and high-income taxation, a consumption tax on luxury goods and polluting products, and mainly self-financing by simplification of a very long list of current social transfers and associated public services which have become obsolete. What we propose would be much simpler, equal, and transparent. Everyone gets a basic income without even asking for it. But then of course it's up to you to work if you want more money. We as European citizens have now launched an official petition called the European Citizen Initiative to make the European authorities examine our manifesto. So, what's the deal? First of all, we have to surpass a minimum threshold of 7 countries minimum. 15 countries have already joined the campaign and are getting ready to collect signatures. Hopefully others will join up soon.
You get the point, but that just lets you know what UBI is all about. And it may be here in this Wikipedia article, or might have been on Google, where they said that the universal basic income wouldn't be taxed. Let's see if it's here. That it'd be free of tax. All right. But anyway, you get the point. So the people will eat this up. You present a universal basic income and no federal taxes, the people will eat that up and get on board in a second. And then you just follow that up with the mandate of the MOTB, okay, to be a part of this new system. And you got a vast majority of the population on board. It's just too easy. The people are lazy and they're not going to see this for what it is. Okay, but the elect are going to see it because the Lord, hey, what did it say? Lord gave us that eye salve, man. We're not ignorant of what this devil. 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this is how you get caught up in one of his snares, one of his traps. The serpent is supposed to come and make things sound good. That's what the serpent presented to Eve. The serpent beguiled Eve and made everything, sound, like it was sweet when it really wasn't. Let's get that. And that's what they getting ready to do all over again, and pushing this agenda further. Let's get the word beguiled. Say, because the serpent beguiled Eve, right?
Strong's G 1818. Exapatao. Exapatao.
It says to deceive. It says to seduce wholly, beguile, deceive. All right, and this is ultimately what this devil is planning to do. You go to the book of Revelations. Said went out to deceive the whole world, right? Revelations 12 verse 9, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. All right, the devil, that word devil means deceiver. All right, and the devil on the planet Earth is the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, and Trump is an Edomite. You got those that hidden hand that basically is Trump's handlers, the ones that put him in the position he's in, the elite. They Edomites, man. They're all devils. We call them devils because they're all deceivers. They're deceiving the whole world. It says, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth. Speaking of the so-called white man who does the bidding of the spiritual demon Satan, and his angels were cast out with him. You see? All right. And this is speaking of the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. He's gone out and he's deceived the whole world. The deception is one of his greatest tools that he uses to continue to heap to himself people, countries, all things in the earth. The scriptures describe that this man can never be satisfied. Habakkuk 2:5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And he does this through his deception. He has these think tanks like the Bilderberg meetings, the World Economic Forum, WEF, and they get together in these groups and they meet and they discuss these plans and how to execute them. And then they go out and they do it. That's Micah 2 verse 1. And here it is again. Trump is the guy to do it because he's coming in here and he's saying things that he will actually do. Trump would love to be the president that made a policy change like this that hasn't happened for years. Just to say that he had done it because he's a proud ass man, but you gotta, through the spirit, we gotta be looking at, the play here. That the scriptures say we're supposed to watch. And in watching, you can see how the so-called white man is continuing to move and make steps towards the ultimate goal. And that's total control. And that's going to be cemented through the MOTB being mandated on the planet Earth. And that time is coming, man. That time is near. And we're to begin spiritually prepared. This is Revelations 3 verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay, so those that keep this word, that hold the faith, that don't bow the knee, okay, when all of these wicked policies go into play and we're seeing it for what it is, then the Lord is going to keep us from the hour of temptation. That's going to be part of the temptation. Everybody else is going to be getting UBI, living good. And then, unless you partake or take that MOTB, then you're going to be basically you're gonna be blocked from participation in the society. So you're not gonna get that UBI. You're not gonna get that check. You're not gonna get that easy living that those that bow the knee are gonna have, and they're gonna look sweet to them for a period of time. Then they're gonna start to see the oppression within that system and have they regrets, and then but that's when it's gonna be too late. So we got the mindset to suffer and get ready to get uncomfortable going into these last days, because it's going to require suffering and sacrifice in order for us to endure it, in order for us to resist, but the Lord is going to keep those that keep the faith from the hour of temptation. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. The word try goes into a trial, a testing. So the Lord want to know if you're about what you say you're about. And we're all going to be tried. We're all going to be tested in these last days. So, again, I just wanted to grab that. I saw that news piece. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump actually tried to push something like this. And the citizens would get behind it in a heartbeat. But it's ultimately going to lead to universal basic income, having every citizen that can sit on the couch and get a check coming automatically to their accounts. Nobody's gonna buck up against that, but the next thing you know, this devil gonna put the squeeze on people. With that type of control, you can control where a person spends their money. You can automatically remove any kind of government charges from their account. You could block purchases from certain vendors or stores, or for certain types of products. You know where a person spent their money and when. All right. And they got control of all of that, man. You can't go outside your 15-minute city and spend the money. So it's keeping you trapped inside a box without walls. And this is the type of oppression this devil is getting ready to bring, man. So the elect are going to see this thing for what it is, and Lord willing, we're kept from that hour of temptation, and we hold, we keep the faith, until the Lord come back and deliver us. But yeah, man, it's just something I came across. This was went up like 9 hours ago, so I wanted to speak a few words on it. Lord willing, it was edifying. Until next time, I'm gonna say shalom.